Good morning, everyone. We are now on Module 5, uh, Safe Laboratory Procedures and Tool Use. This module discusses on the safe laboratory procedures and basic safety practices for the workplace. Also, the correct use of tools in the assembly and the proper disposal of computer components and supplies. The guidelines here presented will keep an IT worker safe while protecting the environment and workplace from contamination caused by improperly discarded materials. What do we expect after the things that we have discussed here? The learning objectives will be you're going to identify the safe procedures and potential hazards for users and technicians. Also, identify safety procedures to protect equipment from damage and data from loss. Identify safety procedures to protect the environment from contamination. Also, when you have learned about this, you're able to explain the purpose of safe working condition and procedures, identify tools and software used with personal computer components and their purposes, and how the implementing proper tool use. Okay, what is the purpose? In this chapter, you were able to create your own worksheets. You're able to perform such activities in the assembly. Some potential microconceptions when you have done the actual. What are your experiences or reflections of the activities for instructors to complete, to prepare to teach, and other additional resources? Okay, so on the workplace, on the worksheets and labs, you have the worksheet, security and diagnostic software, and on the laboratory, you have your computer assembly. What are the safe lab procedures and tool use? The workplace should have safety guidelines to follow, such as you're going to protect people from injury, protect equipment from damage, and protect the environment from contamination. Also, you're going to recognize the safe working conditions, such as some things to look for. Say, for example, clean, organized, and properly lighted workplace. Proper procedures for handling equipment, and proper disposal or recycling of components containing hazardous materials. What are the general safety guidelines? Most companies require reporting any injuries, including description of safety procedures not followed. So you have to take note. Damage to equipment may result in claims for damages from the customer. And also, you have to caution that power supplies and monitors contain high voltage. Do not wear the anti-static wrist strap when repairing power supplies or monitors. So have you seen a wrist strap that is placed on your wrist in order to protect the static of your body so that the components will not be damaged? So this is very useful, and this is also the requirement in handling microscopic components in the assembly of computer. If you are in the line of work or on the assembly area, almost everything that you have touched should have the anti-static so that the components should not be damaged. So caution also that when you have to handle some printer parts may become high or very hot when the use and other parts may contain high voltage. So meaning to say, during the repair or assembly of printer, it should not be turned on because there is what we call electromagnetic components that is attached to the circuitry. When the power is on, it emits its current, and it is very dangerous for the user or for the IT personnel and at the same time for the components. So in other words, you have to turn off or detach anything when you have to repair from the AC power. What are the fire safety guidelines? Have a fire plan before you begin work. What does this mean? Meaning to say, you have to determine your in and out in case of emergency. Where are you going to go? Second is know the location of fire extinguishers, how to use them, and which to use for electrical fires and for combustible fires. Okay, there are two types of fire extinguishers that they may use. So, one is for electrical and one for combustible materials, meaning ang nasusunog. So, dapat may ara kita sini na nakaset up in the environment during the assembly. And of course, if you are in the line of work, you will have the proper orientation of the place. Have an escape route in case of fire gets out of control. O sa tanan nga mga area, there should be an exit for fire so that you can escape anytime soon that the fire gets burning on other materials. Know how to contact emergency services. Not only for the assembly of computer, even at home, even at school, even in the office, you have the directory of some emergency hotlines, how and where to contact in case of emergency. The same true when you have to assemble in the assembly area. These are the very thing that is required. Keep the workspace clean. Okay. So, combustible materials easily gets fire. So, of course, you have to segregate these materials away from your area so that when fire gets out, it will limit the fire to get caught of these combustible materials. Keep most solvents in a separate area. You know, solvents are fire-emitting substance. So you have to take away from this so that in case it will not get fire in case of emergency. We have also the ESD or the electrostatic discharge. The static electricity is the buildup of an electric charge resting on the surface. This buildup may zap a component and cause damage. At least 3,000 volts of static electricity must build up before a person can feel ESD or electrostatic discharge. But less than 30 volts of static electricity can damage a computer component. So take note, less than 30 volts of static electricity can damage computer components. Okay. So there are cases that a person has a high electrostatic energy. So that is why this wrist strap, ang ginabutang sa rest bala sa imo diri nga kamumuo. Amo na tapos ginabutang siya sa ground. So it can hasten the electrostatic energy when you have touched the electronics component. How are we going to prevent the electrostatic discharge? Use anti-static bags to store components. Okay, when you have to purchase different components of computer, it is placed in a parang cellophane bag, but this is not an ordinary bag. This is a bag that contains anti-static. These are anti-static bags para hindi ma-damage ang components. Maybe you have observed that parang though silk siya, it's not an ordinary plastic. We call that anti-static bags. Use grounded mats on workbenches. So, if it is this your table during the line of assembly, may ara pagid nga dumating nga ginabutang, we call that anti-static ground mats. Use grounded floor mats in work areas. Use anti-static wrist straps when working on computers. So, sometimes, because we are not equipped of these materials in the assembly, we used to rub our hands on our lap or even on the casing of your computer before you have to touch the different components so that it can eliminate some of the electrostatic energy that you have, no? So before touching any components, what is common is you have to rub your hand on your lap or on the casing or the metal casing of your computer. Power fluctuation. Ano yung power fluctuation ginatawag? The on and off or the rise and fall of power at times that it is in the on, naka-on siya. Okay? So, naga-fluctuate ang current, meaning gapanubo, nagataas. And of course, if there is no precautions, it will damage some microscopic components. Okay? So, AC power fluctuations can cause data loss or hardware failure. Okay? Siguro notice nyo na sometimes sa inyong mga machines or inyong mga electronic machines nga ara sa inyong balay, during power fluctuations, naganubo, nagataas, or naga-rise and fall ang aton power, wala kita sa auto volt to protect our electronic materials or electronic machines, nagasunog siya, no? Because sometimes very high, sometimes very low. Kaya kung kayo siya ginagamitan nila sa power supply. Blackouts, brownouts, noise, spikes, and power surges. Meaning blackouts, meaning brownout, ng blackouts totally. Pag brownouts, meaning ang area lang. Ang noise, like for example, ang mga noise makadamage man sa electronic equipment. So for example, may mga blasting sa inyong mga palibot, no? Mga lupok nga mga firecrackers, no? Nagaka-damage sila sa aton equipment. Ang spikes, meaning urawa, may naga-wielding sa inyong palibot. Taas nga voltage ang gina-emit niya. So, maka-cause man damage sa neighboring ng mga equipment. Okay, to help shield against power fluctuation issues, use power protection devices to protect the data and computer equipment such as surge processor, surge suppressors. Ino ba lang magbakal ka mo sang outlet, ginasaksak nyo dira, di ba may button siya nga kung gusto mo i-on, i-press mo lang da. Tapos multiple ports ang ara dira. May ara na sang inside, may ara na sang circuit nga may ara dira nga mga tawag sini circuit wherein ara dira ang surge suppressor, no? Kung mag-fluctuate muna sang maga-control nga hindi mag-go directly to your equipment. UPS or uninterruptible power supply. So meaning in the event nga mag-brown out, may ara pagigyapon nga nabilin nga power to sustain your equipment running, and it will give you time to shut down, hindi nga insigida, no? So caution, never plug a printer into a UPS device. So hindi gid na siya advisable base nga sa inyo balay may UPS ka mo or uninterruptible power supply, pati printer takod nyo bangod nga may extra port, so never use that. UPS manufacturers suggest not plugging a printer into UPS for fear of burning up the printer motor. Okay. Any hazardous ingredients contained in the material. Reactivity data such as fire and explosion data. Special protection requirements. Procedures for spills or leaks, and special precautions for health hazards. What are the proper disposal of waste? mga inyo balagin replace nga components such as battery. So, proper disposal. Batteries from portable computer systems may contain lead, cadmium, lithium, alkaline, manganese, mercury. Recycling batteries should be a standard practice for a technician. So, that's why kung may ara gani ka mo nga mga burned or damaged or naghabok ng mga battery sa inyong equipment, it is not advised to throw it away directly to the fire. You have to keep that or ilubong mo siya because there is substance like mercury, especially ang mercury makamamatay. Once nga makapatak lang na gani sa imo nga water, mapatay ikaw, no? Sobra ka ng damaging sa health. Monitors contain up to 4 pounds of lead as well as rare earth metals. So monitors must be disposed of in compliance with the environmental regulations. That's why gani ang Philippines is used for dumping area by other countries like electronics, no? Because it is very hazardous. So, ang Philippines is not very tight when it comes to securing the safety of the environment. That's why ang other countries na lulusutan ang Philippines in disposing their waste product. Used printer toner kits and printer cartridges must be disposed of properly or recycled. Na mga toner nga ng hazardous man sa aton nga environment. Contact the local sanitation company to learn how and where to dispose of chemicals and solvents used to clean computers. Tools for the job. Of course, when you do something, you are equipped with something. Okay, so ano yung mga gamiton? Skilled use of tools and software makes the job less difficult and ensures that tasks are performed properly and safely. So during the repair of computer, one must have a knowledge how to properly handle the tools and what kind of tools is used. At the same time, in order to check the operability of your assembled computer, components that will become a complete system, the proper way of determining whether it is completely or properly installed is through the use of software. So one must be equipped with tools such as software and hardware. So you have what you call the ESD tools, the electrostatic device, anti-static wrist strap, mat, hand tools, screwdrivers, needle nose pliers. Ang needle nose pliers daw long nose pero gamay-gamay bala para mag-pinch, para mag-ipit sa mga screws and minute components nga imo ginakuan kay hindi siya makakaptan. We call that needle nose pliers. Cleaning tools, soft cloth, compressed air can, diagnostic tools such as digital multimeter, loopback adapter. So, sometimes kinanglan nato na ang little knowledge in electronics in the assembly of computer. What are the software tools? Disk management tools such as fdisk or fixed disk, create and delete disk partitions. I guess you have already performed this during your introduction to computer where a student were taught to create a partition on their hardware so that it will have a virtual hardware virtual partition in every hard disk. So you have the fixed disk where you can create and delete these partitions. Format. Prepare a hard drive prior to use. So meaning, before you can properly install softwares on your hard disk, you have to format first your hard disk. Scan disk or check disk. Check for physical errors on the disk surface. Okay? Defrag. Optimize use of space on the disk. Disk cleanup. Remove unused files. Disk management. Creates partition and format disk. in your GUI or graphic user interface sa imong screen, makita mo na ang other tools dira. You can perform some of these software tools. System File Checker or SFC scans the operating system, critical files, and replaces any files that are corrupt. So, organizational tools. You have also your personal reference tools, notes, journal, histories of repairs. Okay, in my experience, when I have to repair some of the errors in computer, I have the notes. So if that is another case of repair and it is different from the rest that I have done, I have to write it down on a piece on my notebook or my notes, and I have to put a details on what I did, how I performed, so that when you have to encounter again errors, the same thing as you did, and you almost forgot the procedures, you have already the notes to look back, so that it will be easier for you to fix. So have always your notes and take down of all the repairs that you have done, so that it is you have already the script. What if you don't have the internet access and you cannot go back? So you have the notes to go back for review when the same or similar cases is encountered during the repair. You have also the internet reference tools. Search engines, news groups, manufacturers, FAQs, online computer manuals, online forums, and chats, and technical websites. Okay, so since you are already well versed in the use of internet, you have lots of things to learn, especially in YouTube, on the explanation of some of your query regarding or during your repair. You have also your miscellaneous tools such as spare parts, a working laptop. Okay, those are miscellaneous tools because you can transfer, like for example, hard disk, you can transfer to your laptop, you can test that in case that you need. So we have now the proper use of anti-static wrist strap. Can prevent ESD damage to computer components. So connect a cable to the metal chassis of the computer. Wrap the strap around your wrist. The connection will keep your body at the same voltage as the computer. Attach the wire on the same side of the equipment as an arm wearing the anti-static wrist strap to keep wire off the way while you are working. Never wear an anti-static wrist strap if you are preparing a monitor or CRT. Take note, never. Okay, so proper use of anti-static mat. Lay the computer on the mat. Connect the computer on the mat with a cable. Connect the mat to reliable electrical ground with its cable. And now you and the computer at the ground potential. Okay, meaning it is all ready. What are the proper use of hand tools? Use the proper type of and size of screwdriver by matching it to the screw. Phillips screw, flathead, and hex are the most common types. Do not over-tighten screws because the threads may become stripped. Okay. The technique of putting or fixing some screws, if you have, say for example, you have 4 screws in the casing, do not fix it first, all the screws, tight or slightly fix it. And then once it is ready, once it is complete, then it is time for you to fix all the screws. But when you have first to attach the screws, dapat hindi siya masyado fix anay. Ang isa, next, ikadua, tatlo, apat, lima, anom. So dapat hindi anay tight. So once na kaplastar na sa, that's the final thing that you have to screw it completely, but not too tight so that the thread will not be damaged or stripped. Caution! If excessive force is needed to remove or add a component, something may be wrong. Okay? Oo, managin man kung mabudlay ko, o meaning na damage na ang thread na strip na kahit sobrang kahugot. Na, okay, because kung wala siya madamage, it would be easy for you to loosen the screws. Caution also, magnetized tools should not be used around electronic devices. Hindi siya pwede kaya nagadamage ang mga electronic devices. Another caution, pencils should not be used inside the computer because the pencil lead can act as a conductor and may damage the computer components. Inabala ang pencil. Conductor, ina siya kung kaisa gani kung mga kita nyo kung nakakita ka mo sang grinder, grinder tools bala mag-cut sa mga tiles, sa mga iron. May kuha na siya, may lead sa sulod nga naga-contact para magtiog. So, sometimes gani, kung wala na siya contact, hindi na siya mag-andar. So, ang sa sulod sina is only lead. Pwede mo gani butangan ina sang lapis para mag-contact siya or i-scratch mo dira ang lapis. So, kung knowledgeable ikaw, kahuposin na mag-ubra. But if you're not experienced to it, ay hindi ka kabalo. So, simple things make it difficult for you. And proper use of cleaning materials. To clean computers and accessories, use mild cleaning solution and lint-free cloth to clean. So, meaning wala siya nagahabot-habot ang tela. Computer cases, outside the monitor, LCD screen, and mouse. So, do not use alcohol in cleaning your equipment or your electronic equipment. Just a damp cloth and dapat hindi siya basa. Though damp cloth lang, bala muna na sa inyo ginapunas. Use compressed air to clean heat sinks. So, may mga ara kitang air blower para nga matiluan ang heat sinks. Ang heat sinks gina-attach ina sa may processor sa sulod sa inyo casing. Pwede na siya maupla. Use isopropyl alcohol and lint-free. Use handheld vacuum cleaner with a brush attached to clean a keyboard. Caution! Before cleaning any device, turn it off and unplug the device from the power source. So, to summarize, we have safe lab procedures and tools used. You have to follow safety procedures for personal protection, equipment protection, and environment protection. Know what tools and software to use in working with computers and computer components, and follow proper use of tools, anti-static wrist strap, anti-static mat, various hand tools, and cleaning materials. So I hope you have learned something out of this module on the precautions and the proper handling of tools when you have to assemble your computer. Also, we have some activities for you to perform here. And then, you are required now to get your manual, purchase your manual at the CCS department for your copy, and to answer some of the guiding questions at the end of every module and submit it as required as agreed. So I will not it is mandatory for you to acquire such manual. Okay, thank you and good morning.